But I have a take on it, though.
Go.
I learned this in the car dealership because I was selling cars, and I sold it to one of these esports people that all he did was play video games and live stream his stuff. And he was making bank. And it's just like, yeah, I kind of, like, now looking at it, it's like, damn, they really turned to hustle.
For sure.
They turn to hustle no matter what. Whether you're an esports player or somebody making money through video games, that's a hustle. And if they could support themselves off of playing video games and what they're already doing, that's respect. And then I looked at the statistics he was telling me, and it's like there's an esports World Series or whatever, the once-a-year thing. And it gets more views and people to watch it than the Super Bowl does.
Yeah.
So,
because it's worldwide. It's accessible on the internet to everyone. Anyone can pick up a game and play. It's like anyone can see themselves doing that.
I should have been drafted. I'm pretty good at 2K.
Okay. Nah, my thing on it is this. So, number one, esports is and has been one of the fastest growing industries in the whole entire country, in the whole entire world. It's like a multi-billion-dollar business. It's really getting legit. There's leagues all over the place. Professional leagues are investing in it. Like, this is just a new wave. It's here. It's staying. It's only going to get bigger.
It's more secure than Bitcoin. And let's be honest, that's probably where a lot of that Bitcoin stuff started. People just trading currency. Like, all money is just an agreement. So all these different currencies being traded over tech, over video games. Once online streaming came, once you could connect with somebody via Skype or whatever from across the world, like, you just completely cut out the middleman. Well, you're more connected than ever. And
well, like going on the esports thing is, like, you can get a scholarship for esports now to go to college.
I'm mad.
You can take classes and major in, coding, building the game, playing the game, testing the game. Like, there's whole curriculums built around esports.
And there's touchdowns and tangents that's talking about esports on the radio station.
Exactly.
So if you got an esports, you want a sponsor or somewhere for some advertising,
look us up.
Hit up touchdowns and tangents. There we go.
And I think the next thing I wanted to say was, if you actually look at the statistics, these esports 2K players are actually making more than G League players. Like, the salary is like 38 to 40K, and I think you get ad share revenue as well.
And way better tax revenue plans.
And you get healthcare and insurance.
And you're not killing your body every day going out playing a sport.
Like carpal tunnel. And
you're probably getting carpal tunnel, killing your eyes and
cussing like a wow.
And I mean, as much as
they probably have a new word for it in esports.
So someone said he's like, one of the old Radiohead said this, when he heard this, he was like, damn, there's a lot of people that are really lonely. And I feel like we have that stigma of gamers, but the reality is that might be true, but gaming is a grind. Like you said earlier, like, you're sitting there playing for 8, 12 hours.
You're still hustling. It's
exactly.
a different hustle.
And the crazy thing is, like, especially with my little brothers, because they're like 12 and 13, so they're at that age where they're like really getting into gaming. And they're just playing they're playing everything, Fortnite, all of it. And it's funny because my grandma is like their primary caregiver, and she just has that stigma of like, oh no, the video games are out your mind, you shouldn't be playing them. Meanwhile, I'm like, man, I'm trying to do whatever I can to help support them in this grind because I want to see them succeed too.
Right. Y'all gonna need
especially because they're really passionate about it and they really like it.
Interview them here.
They're gonna need management. You can be their management. Keep it in the family.
If they need video content, photographers, Open
Kanvas.
Throw a launch party. We could throw an event with them. We could do it.
That's when they say like gamers are alone. It's like, no, they're not. They me and Khalifa and like porn stars and like swimsuit models are on Twitch playing video games and doing esports.
Yeah, man.
So
everyone is. You got a call in.
That was so loud. I almost died.
And you're live on the Touchdowns and Tangents Radio. Who's this? Oh.
What's up, Pete? It's Woo.
What's good, Woo?
What's up, man?
You're live on Touchdowns and Tangents. What's good?
No, I was just listening to you guys. Only had a chance to call in.
Go ahead. You got a take or a tangent?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk. I heard you guys talking about the esports and stuff. It's just crazy how all that's blowing up. I mean, it's they're streaming it live on TV. I forgot what channel it is, but I remember seeing a commercial for it, and it's just crazy, man. You got all these outlets. These guys, now I'm about to play PUBG in a little bit. That game blew up.
Yeah, man. So for
guys
so for those of you who don't know, this is my boy Woo. He's one of our loyal listeners here. He hooked us up with the mic before. This is my big bro. We used to train together back in the day on the Roosevelt. So let me ask you this, Woo. We were really back in the grind in football, back in the day. So I'm going to ask you this. When you do have a kid or whatever, would you want him to play esports, and like how serious would you let him get with it? Like how many hours would you allow him to dedicate to it?
Man, that's pretty tough. I think for sure school's going to have to come first. I mean, if he's got his homework done and stuff like that, then an hour or two a day, and then on weekends.
Bro, but you were putting in 7 and 8 hours of football.
I know. I was about to say, hopefully he's into sports like I am. I don't want to be that dad to push his kid, but I would definitely want him to do something outside, real world. But if it's something he was super passionate about, just like any other sport, I think I'd support it.
All right, man. Anything else you want to say?
I'm gonna make it down there soon, though.
All right, man. Keep up the good work. Have a good week.
All right, dude. You too.
Peace out, Woo.
You too, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the listeners giving us a call in, actually being on topic, man. Shout out to my boy Woo.
Bro, remember when we used to watch the Madden Bowl?
Yeah, for real.
And that one dude, black dude with the Arizona Cardinals jersey, punched the guy on the bus and got kicked off. They got that intense. You're like, bro, them cats are probably making millions of dollars a year. Just free money out there. Globally, too.
All right, so last game before we get into our rants. Let's try to make this one quick, KB.
Bro, we got 30 minutes. Relax.
I'm not trying to go the full 2 hours. It's too long. No one wants to download a 2-hour podcast on their phone.
Yeah, we have.
It eats up. It eats up your memory.
We have multiple downloads.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a transaction. You can tell me if it's touchdown or turnover.
A transaction. All right, cool.
So Geno Smith signs with the Chargers. Touchdown or turnover?
Remember what I said about West Virginia quarterbacks last week?
It's gonna be a turnover.
It's a turnover even when it's
like
a
him
touchdown.
with the Jets.
It's a turnover even when it's a touchdown because their ratio is terrible.
All right, the Raiders signed kick returner Dwayne Harris.
So we went older, slower, fumble prone, and much longer dreads. But at least we saved roster space. Sure, he's not really that. He's not really that great of a receiver. Sure, it's definitely not going to be a touchdown. So it has to be a turnover because their special teams are going to be trash.
All right. Robert Quinn, he had his press conference with the Miami Dolphins. He said he's not a West Coast guy, number one. Number two, he said getting traded to the Dolphins was a breath of fresh air leaving the Rams.
He said you don't know you're suffocating until you run out of air or something like that.
So is Robert Quinn calling out the Rams a touchdown or a turnover?
I'm going to just be a dick and make a joke. It's a touchdown, but let's be honest. Ever since he came out of North Carolina, did you really believe that Robert Quinn was really about the X's and O's? Like the nitty gritty.
No, he's about getting paid.
Exactly. You have
getting moolah.
Him and Mario Williams are on the same team, and Cameron Wade.
I don't think Mario Williams is there anymore.
Did he get cut?
He's been cut. I think he's been out the league for 2 years.
They're still probably paying him though.
I haven't heard of him for a while, actually.
Bro, they're still paying Mario Williams. He had a fat contract with the Dolphins, and it's with Quinn, he had 8.5 sacks with the Rams, but I think in this case he can just rush the passer. He's probably going to be happier. Simple's easier for him. Complicated, not so much.
Junior Galette visited the Raiders today. There's supposedly mutual interest.
Hit that boo one more time for me, please. Then give me 2 gunshots. Yeah, hell no. That's a turnover. Might be a felony, too.
I'm going to say it's a turnover, too, because the Raiders supposedly have a no domestic violence policy, and Galettes on video.
How you gonna explain it to Biletnikoff?
Yeah, not a good move.
On top of that, he's like I said.
Top of that, he's been injury prone.
I said it in a group chat.
He's old.
He's one slipping. He's one floor slip away from like an injury waiver.
All right. Supposedly, the rumors are the Patriots have an affinity or interest in Baker Mayfield. Touchdown or turnover?
I hope that's a touchdown because I heard reports that they wanted Josh Rosen, and that would be everyone's worst nightmare. That's worse than like all of us firing off nukes at once. Because if you put Bill Belichick and Josh Rosen, their collective minds together, Josh Rosen's a football junkie and already throws the football better than anybody in his class. And you put him in New England, and all you gotta do is trade 2 first-round picks. Oh man, it's kind of horrifying to think about. It's unsettling.
All right.
Somebody said Josh Allen might fall to the Patriots too.
Yeah, no.
It's not happening.
I'll be pissed off if that happened. All right. Last one, or second to last one. It's Markeith Pouncey with the Chargers, right?
Yeah, because Marquise
is with the Steelers.
Yeah.
So Markeith recently signed with the Chargers for $10 million, and the Dolphins came out and said the reason why they cut him is because of his hip injury is basically going to hinder him for the rest of his career. Shout out to IT. And they didn't feel like paying him $10 million a year was going to be worth it because he was probably not going to be able to practice because of his hips. So is that a touchdown or a turnover for the Chargers?
That's a touchdown for the Chargers because Max Turk wasn't really working out, and you need a guy like the Pouncey brothers are tough guys. Let's be honest.
Yeah, man.
They will beat the shit out of you.
When you're a center and your hips are degenerating or always in pain. I mean, you play center, right, JD?
Yeah, I play center.
Yeah, man. Too. Imagine if your hip hurt just walking around and you have to get in that center stance.
That's what shots.
That sounds terrible.
And on top of that, you're playing O-line where you need like constant chemistry and
you need your body.
You need to be in sync with the people around you. So if you're not practicing, like
he has a high pain threshold though, so it's like he's gonna get
that's
paid.
True.
And you have Forrest Lamp who was injured. He's probably gonna be there.
So
you have him and Dan Feeney at guard. Like
I got a tangent on this though.
Okay.
All right, different game, but go ahead.
That's good.
Go ahead. It's touchdown tangent. Go ahead.
Come on somebody's house.
It's a consistent game. It's a consistent game.
Eating with the China. Okay.
But it's just like this is going back to why you got to create a team because Markeith and Markeith Pouncey, if they're actual characters or figures in entertainment as well as just being NFL players, they'll have a team. So now they're making money outside of football. So that when he transitions and his body deteriorates, he can actually do something with his image and his brand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So going back to that whole thing from the beginning of the show, like always build a brand, whether you're an athlete or a person in general, because if your body deteriorates, you have nothing to fall back on.
That's a good point, but nobody wants all linemen to have a brand. So let's be real about that.
You got to just change the game.
My boy Woo, who was just on the phone earlier, he was a center and he wore white cleats and he had to bear crawl for like 2 weeks straight. Like,
that's foul.
For white cleats?
It was bad, yeah. Because coach literally told us everyone had to have black cleats. It was his senior year. He ordered custom Under Armour cleats that were white and blue.
Bro, that Under Armour tip was fierce.
Yeah, it was.
2010s.
Yeah, it was.
They're hitting you off though, like 140, 130.
Yeah, and it was bad. Like he literally, like coach told him, just do down ups until I'm tired. Like he literally did down ups like one whole practice just for having white cleats. Like it was bad.
But he earned those white cleats, so
he
did.
It,
right?
He did. He did. He was still a team captain.
White cleats make you look faster. White cleats, black socks, they make you look faster.
That's racist.
No, they do.
Racist.
He turned it around. That was a good one.
All right. Last one.
I swear it's true though. It's weird. White shoes just make you look faster when you're outrunning somebody. It's funny.
In case you were sleeping under a rock, there was a viral video on NFL Twitter and NFL Instagram of Aaron Donald training with knives.
They weren't real knives though.
So is that a touchdown or a turnover?
For who?
For Aaron Donald.
That's a touchdown, which means he'll probably have a sack fumble, recover it for a touchdown, and Dom can.
I'm gonna go the other way on this. This is a turnover, and here's why.
It wasn't real knives.
Well, that and it's choreographed, so it's like The guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this.